Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about the lipids. Lipid. There is a contents are introduction of the lipids, then definition of lipids and functions of that lipids and classification and lipid metabolism disorders. And first is the introduction. This lipids is derived from this word of the lipid is derived from the Greek word that is a lipos, which means a fat. These are the heterogeneous group of the compounds. Lipids are unlike proteins, nucleic acids, polysaccharides. Then the lipids are not polymers, rather they are small molecules. They are the cheap storage form of energy besides their role in a cellular structure and other biochemical functions. These lipids are a diverse group of the chemicals that are the fats and oil substances. The lipids are hydrophobic in nature. These are the insoluble in water. Lipids are insoluble in organic solvents such as the ether, ethanol, acetone, chloroform, benzene, etc. These lipids which contains the carbon, hydrogen and oxygens as in carbohydrates. But in lipids, the preparation of oxygen is much less. Proportion of the oxygen is much less, which having two oxygen atoms at one end of the long molecules. Then definition of the lipids. Lipids may be regarded as an organic substances relatively insoluble in water, soluble in organic solvents, and actually or potentially related to fatty acids and utilized by the living cells. That is the lipids, which are diverse group of the chemicals that are fats and oily substances. Then the functions of the lipids. In the lipids, fat is stored in the adipose tissues where it also serves as the thermal insulator in the subcutaneous tissues. Fatty acid derivatives serve as the vitamins like A, D, E and vitamin K, or it is serves as an hormones. Lipids act as an energy or food reservoir, that is an triglycerol lipid. It has several proteins are covalently modified by the fatty acids. Then the function have the structural components of the biological membranes, that is the lipoprotein, phospholipids and sphingomyelins. Lipids acts as an important cellular metabolic regulators, that is the steroid hormones or PGs. These lipids are compounds in the inner mitochondrial membrane and participate into the electron transport chain. Then the classification of the lipids. Lipids are broadly classified into the five types, which are simple lipids, complex lipids, derived lipids, neutral lipids, and the miscellaneous lipids. In the simple lipids, the esters of the fatty acids within glycerols, and it is mainly of the two types. These simple lipids have the two types and it is also called as the homolipids. The first type of the simple lipid is fats and oils. This fats and oils is also called as the triglycerides. These triglycerides are esters of the fatty acids and glycerols. There is a difference between the fats and oils is an physical. That means there is a physical difference between that fats and the oil. These fats and oil, which includes the simple triglycerides and mixed triglycerides. second type of this simple lipid is waxes. Waxes is the ester of fatty acids and the alcohol other than the glycerols. And, and the waxes is a acetyl alcohol is most commonly used. Complex or compounds of the lipids. Ester of the fatty acids plus alcohol plus other groups like then phosphates, nitrogenous bases, carbohydrates, proteins, etc. It is lipids is based on the group of present. They are further classified into phospholipids. Phospholipids is nothing but the phospholipids is nothing but the fatty acids plus alcohol plus phosphoric acid as a nitrogenous base. It is based on the type of the alcohol which is present, and they are again divided into the glycerophospholipids and the sphingospholipids. Glycerophospholipids which contains the glycerol as an alcohol, and the sphingospholipids which contains the sphingosine as an alcohol. Then glycolipids, that is the fatty acids plus alcohols plus carbohydrate as a nitrogenous base, which contains the sphingosine as an alcohol, and hence it is also known as the glycosphingolipids. For examples, cerebrosides and gangliosides. Next type is the lipoproteins. These lipoproteins are the micromolecule complexes of the lipids with a proteins. For examples, uh, cyclomicrons, HDL, LDL, and VLDL, etc. Then other complex lipids are sulfolipids, aminolipids, and other lipopolysaccharides come under these lipids. Then second main type of the lipid is derived lipids. This derived lipid is also known as the heterolipids. These heterolipids are the derivatives of the hydrolysis of simple and complex lipids which possesses the characteristics of the lipids. These compound lipids included the lipid soluble vitamins, steroid hormones, hydrocarbons, ketone bodies, mono and diacyl glycerol, etc. Then the neutral lipids. These are the lipids which are uncharged and are referred or an as a neutral lipids. These are mono, di and triglycerols, cholesterols and the cholesterol esters. Then miscellaneous lipids. These miscellaneous lipids have a large number of compounds which possesses the characteristics of the lipids, such as the compounds come under these categories. For examples, carotenoids, squalene, hydrocarbons like the pentaco pentacozone and terpenes, etc. Then there is the fatty acids. What is meant by the fatty acids? Fatty acids is the carboxylic acids with hydrocarbon side chains, which is occurs in the esterified forms. They occurs in even and all carbonatoms. Fatty acids are saturated and unsaturated form. These fatty acids are essential and non-essential, and essential fatty acids are linoleic acids, lino, linoleic acids, arachidonic acids. Then deficiency of essential fatty acids causes the deficiency which causes the skin problems. The presence of hernia eruptions on posterior and lateral parts of the limbs on the back and buttock, or loss of hair and poor wound healing. The triglycerols. The triglycerols is nothing but the ester of the fatty acids and glycerols, which is widely distributed. It is insoluble in water and non-polar, hence it is known as the neutral fats. These triglycerides are served as a fuel reserve sufficient for 2 to 3 months. They do not serve as a structural components of a cell membrane. Triglycerides is divided again into the two types, that is the simple triglycerols and mixed triglycerols. Test to check for purity. The purity of that lipids checked by the iodine numbers, saponification numbers, and Raychard's missile number. Then phospholipids. Phospholipids included the glycerophospholipids, that is the phosphatidic acids, and the lecithins. These phosphatidic acids is a simple of all which does not occur in a good concentrations, and these lecithins are the phosphatidic acids plus choline as a nitrogenous base. The storage form of the body is choline. Then there are some types of the lipids, glycerophospholipids. Here is the plasmalogens, cardiolipins, and next one is the sphingomyelins. This sphingomyelins contains the amino alcohol which attaches to an amide groups by the fatty acids to form a ceramides. These sphingomyelins are important constituent of the brain and nervous system or nervous tissue. The functions of these phospholipids. This phospholipid structural component, it is a structural components. Electron transport chain, it has absorption of fats, synthesis of the lipoprotein and transport of the fat by the phospholipids. This phospholipids prevents the fatty liver and it, it is used as a surfactants. And phospholipids reverse cholesterol transport. Lipoproteins. Lipoproteins is nothing but the lipids and proteins. There are the five types of that lipoproteins. Then clinical significance of the lipids and disorders of the lipids. You can see here the hyperlipoprotein hyperlipoproteinemia, hypolipoproteinemia, fatty liver, obesity, cachexia, anorexia nervosa, xanthomatosis, and atherosclerosis. The third main type of the these lipid is the derived lipids, which derived lipids further divided into the steroids, terpenes, and carotenoids. These steroids have includes the cholesterols and the carotenoids, which includes the lycopenes, carotenes, and xanthophylls.